Well, as you said, those figures you cited are much, much higher than what we've got used to seeing in French parliamentary elections in 2022. And in 2017, the participation, the turnout figures dropped below 50%. And to see 59.39% long before polls have even closed, that's a real coup. It's worth noting, as you say, the big point of comparison is in fact not the most recent parliamentary elections, but that 1997 snap election. Of course, legislative elections in France usually come just 2 months after a presidential election, which usually brings out a result that aligns with the presidential election. And so this is a very unusual situation. The electoral calendar has been interrupted. Voters have been galvanised because in this election there is a chance to really massively change the French political landscape from the status quo. We've seen people in the streets going up to other people out and about, encouraging them to make sure they go out and vote, because that is just how switched on voters seem to be this time.
It is an incredibly consequential election. And Antonia, just how is that higher turnout going to be impacting these results?
Well, it's worth noting that the French system is extremely complicated for parliamentary elections. Some races across France, of those 577 different constituencies up for grabs, some races will be settled today in one round. In order for that to be the case, a candidate would need to have an absolute majority in the votes cast, and there also would need to be more than 50% turnout. Most races, though, will go through to 2 rounds, and anyone who makes 12.5% of registered voters, that's not votes cast, it's a slightly higher threshold, will go through to the next round. And it's usually a 2-horse race, but higher turnout will push up more candidates' numbers and will potentially mean there are more triangulars, as they're called. Triangulars are fairly rare in French elections. 2022 saw 8 seats going through to these 3-horse races in the second round. Only 1 seat in 2017 was in that situation, but we're expecting many, many more this time around. It remains to be seen just who benefits from that, but it would really change the shape of the results eventually and how the campaign plays out this week, with much more likely wheeling and dealing between parties as candidates in these 3-horse races potentially decide alliances to be drawn or who to put their weight behind.